Bang it out the trunk now.
Kingdom, radically uplifting, mighty race.
Krump gives dance as a form of self-expression.
Krump gives me a reason to go out and meet people.
For me, Krump is, as he says, it is family as well.
Krump has given me a sense of hope.
And it became more of an art form to me.
Something to live for.
Like you say, it's a lifestyle.
You go through a transformation. It's not just Krump anymore. Krump is life. Krump is life. Life.
My name is Surah Sarifi. My dancer's name is Jester, Junior Braze and C Boogie. I started Krumping around late 2012.
My name is Ryan Buckley, aka Braze, aka Boy Zero, and I've been Krumping for 5 years. I started in 2009.
Morgan, Princess Diasani, aka Girl Cannon, aka Little Rabbit.
Kellius in Paris is his other name is Bijou, so I'm Young Bijou.
My name is Dwayne Taylor. I started Krumping in 2006, 7-ish, and my Krump name is Big Discipline.
I'm not a Krumper myself, but I'm part of the Krump community and I support Krump events and help organise battles and other sessions when I can.
So Krump, it actually stands for Kingdom, Radically Uplifting, Mighty Praise. So Krump, when it first started to grow, was always a praise dance. It was a religious dance. I mean, now that Krump has grown, it stands for different things, but the majority of Krumpers are still quite religious, and this is the reason that they Krump.
What I identify with most about Krump is the fact that the roots of it are a Christian dance. So because I'm a Christian, I like the way that you can express your worship or your feelings towards God through a dance form. It seems to me like almost like a way of praying without the words, but using your body.
Tai's and Miho created Krump like around 2000, 99. It was kind of within between those years. It was created in LA. They were clown dancers. They came out of a style called clowning, which was more of a dance to make people smile, make people laugh. That was done in the ghettos, and with Tai's and Miho, their style was a lot more raw, a lot more rugged, a lot more aggressive. So then they started to go off and lab or practice and develop this style, and from it they created Krump, which was more of a release for them. It wasn't about making other people smile or making other people laugh. It was an expression of their own emotion. Krump came to the UK, I say around into 2004 maybe, or 2005. It was firstly, everyone was trying to do it from seeing it online, seeing it in videos and stuff like that, but it wasn't really being taught correctly. A young lady called Kimberly J did a music video with Madonna, and I think she also did a couple performances with her where Lil C and Miss Prissy were also on the tour and also did the videos with her. And they began to teach her basics and foundations, and she then carried those basics and foundations and started teaching in the UK.
I first saw the film Rise when it was at the cinema, and that's what introduced me to Krump. At that time I had no idea that Krump was in the UK as well as in America. Then one time I was at a breakdance battles event down in Brixton, and they also happened to have some Krump battles there, so that was my first time to see Krump for myself, and it really blew me away. When I saw it, I was amazed.
I was doing basketball for 8 years and I just broke my knee in the basketball, so I was basically injured. And all the time I was crossing my friend in the bus and they were going to the Krump training. So I couldn't go to Krump because I was doing basketball. But this time I was injured, so I decided to come and just watch to see how is this dance. And I don't know, it just everything was on point. Like I do like dance before, but not all the dance style didn't attract me, you know. So when I see Krump, the first thing really attract me was the hype.
I think a really hype song must have come on, and then upon doing a flare, which I had never ever mastered, I should have practiced and mastered and done before going to a session. A nail board had a loose nail on, and it came out upon doing it, and I spun out of control. And upon falling onto the nail, my knee went first, and it went right into my knee, and it messed up my whole leg. So my left leg was gone, and it had for a couple of months I was in physio. I couldn't walk properly. It ruined breaking for me. I couldn't break anymore. I tried many times. It wasn't working for me, so I had to come up with an alternative. I went to a place called Chocodero in central London, where I met the Alliance, the crew, Krump crew, and I went there and I saw them and I thought, wow, this is really hype, this is really cool, I want to get in on some of this, you know. Then I kept asking people to teach me. They'll teach me something and then they'll let me go and practice it, and I'll come back and I'll always do that for a couple months, innit?
So I was living in Bristol when I first came across Krump, and there was a Krump crew there. They called themselves Bangtown, and I became friends with a couple of members, and they introduced me to the first sort of set of basic moves in Krump. And the more that I was with them, the more that they introduced me to things like dance battles and sessions and all these things that Krump was getting involved with. And the more that I attended these things, the more that I continued to learn, and the more that I learned, the more that I practiced, and it went on from there.
The obvious differences is the particular moves that Krump needs in order to be Krump. Things like chest pops, jabs, foot stomps, arm swings. And without those elements, it's not really Krump. You have to have those basics. But I love it when Krumpers get creative with the basics and add their own flavour and their own style to it. So Krump is very different to other dance forms as well, because it's well, I know all dance is a form of expression, but somehow Krump seems to give a lot of freedom of expression because it's so wild and so crazy.
There's something about Krump being so ugly and so energetic. With other dance styles, you have to be very clean and very precise. And that's not to say that isn't in Krump, but Krump you can really find something tangible and something really meaty in the dance style. And to dance in an ugly way comes from raw expression. So this is when we say Krump is raw. It comes from something emotionally first, and then the dance comes after. And so, like you guys would have seen in the session, sometimes it's all just arms. It's all just we call it get off. And that moment when everyone's screaming and shouting at one point, has so much energy, and I've never ever found that in any dance style that I've experienced. Krump is all about sessions and battles. So if you Krump, then these are the two things that you need to do. Simply because every time you go to a session or a battle, you learn something new, and other people will learn something from you. So this whole idea of sharing is really strong in Krump, I think.
A lot of Krumpers used to train, or lab as they call it, meaning to practice, at Trocadero Centre, which was an amazing venue for all kinds of street dance in the centre of London, but unfortunately it's now been closed down for redevelopment. The South Bank Centre Festival Hall in the South Bank of London, a lot of dancers go there to train when they can in the space underneath. Charing Cross Underground in the subway, a lot of dancers crump there. There's other spaces. In the past, people have just rented out community centres, sometimes even used car parks, whatever space they can find really.
My friend, he had a small garage that we always used to practice in. That was like the main spot. In Bristol, there's an area called Millennium Square. That was always a place that we used to practice, and even now it tends to be in my living room.
I remember one time I found a boy in a park who was just crumping. Me and my friends saw him crumping and we went to talk to him. And it turned out that he had been learning online through YouTube, but he didn't know any other crumpers, so I invited him along to a session and connected him to some other crumpers. So I think my role is kind of in connecting people, and also I've helped to organise some sessions and battles and workshops, and I've helped to host crumpers when they've come from other countries for events.
Krump is all about growing, and I really find it interesting to see what people's journeys are within Krump. Everybody has step one, when they learn the first set of basic moves, but then to see them not only grow and become more talented, but also enjoy the fact that they're becoming more talented. They try to get involved with Krump, but sometimes they don't really know where to go. And so when I help them to take that first major step into Krump, and when you see them win their first battle and or get involved with the Krump scene like that, it's a really satisfying feeling, because you've given someone the same inspiration that you felt originally. And so I know for myself that I've changed as a person throughout the whole journey of Krump. So to see someone else start that journey, or to become more confident in themselves and to grow as a person, then that's because you've helped them. And that's all a part of growing as a community and as people. So.
When I first used to go to Krump events, at that time, it was before smartphones were such a big thing. I know it's hard to remember now, only a few years ago, especially because working with a lot of young people, they didn't even have good phones, so I used to help out by taking photos and very basic video footage. So that was one way that it was spread through photos and footage online on Facebook, and then nowadays it's mostly on YouTube. And through forums online.
It will be famous enough that people will start recognize the work. So we got the Street Kingdom crew who went to the ABDC competition on MTV, which is the American competition of of crew performance, and they went to the semi-final or something.
Yeah.
Semi-final, which is super good for a dance who's basically not really known in the mainstream. I mean, the mainstream. And since this day, there are more shows in the TV with Krump. There are more Krumpers who trying to get in the mainstream with Krump.
The typical Krump attire tends to be a black t-shirt, jeans, and I think Krumpers like to wear quite flashy shoes, but then maybe Tim's, I don't know, something like that. And definitely a snapback, which is I'm not wearing today, but Krump has its own fashion now. And there are t-shirts that people sell specifically tailored for Krumpers. With lots of different kind of phrases on the t-shirt or logos and these kind of things that all affiliate with Krump specifically. The Krump community has a long way to go. I think the people that come into Krump typically are people who like to turn up late for things and be a little bit lazy sometimes. But as a whole, it is really strong. It is really, really strong. There's a lot of talk about pushing the movement, and I think a lot of people really believe in this. So there are some people who just want to turn up to this, who just want to turn up to the events. But more often than not, I find that Krump is the people who want to bring more people into Krump and bring more support for the Krumpers that are already in the scene. So typically it is a really strong scene. It's a lot of support between people.
Krump has changed my life because it's given me a community to be part of, and it's introduced me to people that I would never have had a chance to meet otherwise. So I've met people who I now consider to be my really good friends or my brothers and sisters from all different ages, all different races, all different countries. It's a really good way of meeting people you would never have a chance to meet.
I've got to meet other people that I never knew about, and I've got to travel the world to see other people.
Because I had you sitting there saying to me, why is Krump not on the list for stuff? So is it represented as much?
No.
Okay.
No, because people don't understand it as much.
Because obviously she does do other styles as well, but she tends to Krump more. With UDO and SDI, they don't tend to recognise the Krump when the children are soloing as much as they do hip-hop, house, popping, rocking. Krump, they don't seem to recognise as a dance, like where she's going off to France and Germany and whatever else. The school don't see that as she's going and doing what she's doing. They don't see it as a dance and that she's being educated. And where children that have gone Britain's Got Talent from the same school, they've been allowed time off school and they've recognised it, etc., etc. Even though she's had letters from the organisers and things like that, they don't want to know. Which is a bit upsetting really, because it's still an art form. So
I'm trying to create Krump's boundaries in many different ways. So what I aim to do is put Krump in a format that can be understood through choreography by doing something called Krump Theatre and trying to make it accessible to other dance styles, not just other street dance styles or other urban dance styles, so to speak, but more ballet and contemporary dancers. And I want them to understand it and see it's a dance style within itself. Yeah, I'm trying to break the boundary of, you know, or the expectation of it's always just raw and it's always just ghetto. Like I want to show people we can do something different with it.
for you, I think you're pushing more for your age group, aren't you? There's more kids. Since Morgan's been doing it, a lot more kids seem to be doing, which is a good thing. It's pushing it and it's moving the movement forward, which is what they want. They want the side of it not being aggressive and that shown, which the kids getting involved, it shows it, and there is more and more kids. I think she's part of that because they've seen one kid can do it, so they're trying.
4 or 3 years ago, Krump wasn't that known in the whole style battle. I mean, it was like hip-hop battles and Krump battles. So now we can have both. So we fight, we came in a long way because when the first time like a Krumper were going to a whole style event, everybody was doing some mockery, some gorilla stuff, some typical mock stuff, you know, some jokes, and it was hard to people to get what Krump is. And even if they had Krump category, Krumper is still going to the whole style category, so which is all the style mixing together. So we was fighting to representing our style. So then we start winning battles, winning, and people start realize that Krump is not that a dance that we should mock, it's a dance that we should understand, because it's still a dance. It's not, that's what I came, like it's an expression and it's still a dance. There's basics, there's still musicality in it, there's still timing in it. It's like the same rules as every dance. It's just a different type of expression of art.
I think you can just look at it, you can see like that when a Krump dancer is dancing, they're putting everything on the line. They're with Krump, there's no 50%. We always give 100% behind every single thing we do. So I think with artists as well, or true great artists, you put everything into what you do. You like whether it's painting a painting, putting their emotions into it. And with Krump, it's an expression of emotion. So we're always expressing something. And I think that in itself could show like how much of a strong art form it is.
Krump is definitely an art form because it's primarily about storytelling, it's about character, it's very visual, it's about self-expression. So yeah, I would definitely say it's an art form.
We talk particularly about character work in Krump. This is a big thing in Krump, and you can build your I'm gonna say like a new personality within your dance. This is purely a sense of expression that Krumpers can use in exactly the same way as a sculptor sculpts things and a painter paints things. We create something with our bodies, and we present it to someone in a session or a battle or something, and that makes Krump art.
It's not just an art form for me, it's like a lifestyle. I'm going over Krump stuff when I'm sleeping, I'm going over Krump stuff when I'm going to school, I'm listening to Krump music, and I'm like assessing the music, trying to understand how Krump music goes. And that's when it started becoming more of a lifestyle for me, and it became more of an art form to me, like really expressing myself, finding my character, you know, because Krump has character, and your character has to be you. So upon discovering your character and making it your own, you go through a transformation. It's not just Krump anymore. Krump is life.
Krump can take over the world, it can take the theater, it can take the main street, it can take the all-style battle, and it can still take the underground battles. So the future of Krump will be super good and better. We just have to keep it doing that way and to not mixing Krump with other things. We are good enough on what we already do, and with all the things combined, who's creating his dance, we don't need something else because there's already everything in it.
I hope that Krump will always be in my life because obviously I really enjoy it, but then again, being realistic, you don't know what will happen to you, but it will always be there in my mind as an influence, even if I can't always make the time to go to Krump events anymore.
Krump will definitely always be in my life. Even after I stopped dancing, I think in some way, shape or form, Krump will always be there. Even if I'm still choreographing or still directing, it's something that's changed my life. It's bettered me. I do other styles as well, but Krump is always the thing that kind of, it's my main thing.
I believe Krump will be in my life when I'm older because it's an art lots of people can do. It's growing through generations.
There are so many things that I haven't done yet. I have quite a long to-do list of my targets in Krump, where I keep setting my sights high. The last reason I have to leave Krump. If that moment when Krump holds me back as a person, then I know that I need to leave, and that hasn't happened yet. So Krump will always be there for as long as I can do it, and I can strive and aim high. Then Krump will be in my life until I die.